Alright, let's move on to the next element and create a new MIDI track down here below perk ref and call that, well, insert MIDI track, this one, and pick up perk 1 from our core samples folder. Bring down this preview level here, drag this one onto the channel here, and we copy one of those side chains from the upper channels. We have one on the loop. Let's take that one here. Alt and behind this one, look for an EQ8 for low cut. You want to use upper parts of that sound. So if I activate this MIDI trigger here, bring down the level. Okay, let's stay here for now. And we are also going to use a doubler. So we use the doubler that's lying down on this track here. Just copy that here on this channel. Exactly. Open up the right filter, the filter on the right panorama side. Bring the delay times up a bit. So left delay up to 17. Okay, now we create a MIDI clip 1 bar long, like this. And I'm hitting the short key. Short key for selecting an area and creating a MIDI clip is Shift Command M. And let's call this perk 1. And go in there. Go to C3 for now. And create a node here at 1.1.3. All right, duplicate that one. So how do you duplicate? You select it right here, not here, because then you will skip those two measures. But if you select it here and hit Command D, this is happening. But that's not the pattern we're looking for. Drag the 1.3 node longer. That's a preparation for one of our drops. So drag this one longer, put this one up here, and close the gap. Bring down the velocity. Let's play around with the pitch. But we're not sure about the pitch now, so we're going to wait for the other elements. So let's go back to the view of our Cymbal device here and bring down the sustain just slightly. The next element we are putting in is a cymbal or ride sound. So let's create another MIDI track here and load up a core samples folder and look for cymbal 0001 and drag it onto this channel down here. And we are simply copying the sidechain here down on the cymbal device. And we're bringing down the gain. And let's actually copy this pattern here. And look for a EQ8. Needs a bit less low end. Clean up. And in this case, we also need a reverb. So pick up the reverb. No input processing here. No spin, put it up to high quality, no diffusion filtering, no chorus, so just plain reverb and no flat and cut. And let's listen. How does the other reverb sound? It's a bit harsh still, so let's go into the MIDI and bring that down even further. You can actually see the value of the velocity down here in this bar. And let's keep it there. Now, I still think it's a bit harsh, so let's skip the first part of the sample and start a bit later. Oh yeah, that's much better. So attack up. Okay, let's use this return reverb here. And let's put up a delay behind the EQ and put the dry wet down. Feedback up. Okay, and like put the right one off and link those 2 times. So dry wet down a little bit. Okay, now we are creating this pattern over 2 bars. So I'm dragging this perk MIDI longer and consolidate it, rename it to Cymbal. Open it up, put it on loop mode, and we are slightly changing our pattern here. So start with E3, and this one is playing longer. Exactly. And this one's earlier too. Putting in the measures. This one is on 1, 3, 3. Shorter. Play this one a bit longer. This is really adding the drive here. Let's put the kick to play with it along. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, what the heck is this pattern? But actually later we are going to play our melody at exactly this pattern, and we are supporting the melody with this ride sound, and that will add a lot of power to this track. Okay, let's move it a little bit to the right. And add a little bit of lag, 10 milliseconds. Bring it down a little bit here. And actually also add this lag into the perky sound. And bring that down as well. So now we have those percussive and cymbal effects in here as well. They're adding nicely to the groove. Later in specific parts of our song arrangement, we can really use them nicely, play them together with melodies and achieve a nice and interesting groove sound. And basically we just loaded up those 2 samples and tweaked them a little bit with a shorter effect chain here on the cymbal and with a bit more effects like the doubler effect here. Actually, if you want to see how to set up this doubler effect, we are putting a specific video on that thing into the bonus stuff of the course. So let's move on to the next chapter.